thank you for the way you've all carried out your duties.
Oops. Let me stop sharing that tab. There we go. That's better. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Or good evening if you're over there on the right coast. Over that way. G23 is out gallivanting around Oregon. So he wasn't going to do a chat. So I figured we'd take it over. Let me get everything going here. We'll go with that one. There we go. So there's email, a way that you can send comments, suggestions, or Gorn. Excuse me. To untactfulfoss@gmail.com or http theovernight.live, and that'll take you where you need to go. So let's see who was out there, since this is kind of a last minute thing. Not sure how many people will show up, but Krabby Turtle is out there. Mike White, Caucasian Sasquatch, Artak, and if you're out there, still out there, Artak, I don't know if I have your email. I think I have your email. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I have your email. I'll send you. And Schmaggy. How's it going, Schmaggy? But there we go. We don't really have any topics because it was just kind of I was laying on the couch and it's like, well, why don't we do a chat? But so Schmaggy, if you want to jump in, there's a link in the Gilded. And let me see here if I have Artak. Oh, I do, because his is, yes. Hang on here. There we go. So I'll send you one, Artak. There we go.
So did I mention on the show before that I was getting another safe? Because I had run out of room.
I think so. I don't know.
Or was that offline?
I'm not sure. It all kind of melds together, so I can never remember what we actually talk about and what was just in my head.
Well, I did get it. It got delivered. FedEx crushed it a little bit, so I had to slam it back into shape with a 2x4 and a sledgehammer so the door would open. But yeah, and it's already full. There's no room. I might have a problem.
What brand is it?
Stack on.
Stack on. Stack on. Stack off. The stacker. I've got a very small. I've got a small rifle safe, and an even smaller rifle safe. My even smaller rifle safe is a stack on, which for being small. You know, if you've got handguns and rifles, it's had a neat hanger system, and where you could add on to the hangers, and they kind of link to each other vertically. I was going to order some extra ones, and I must have bought it just as it was being discontinued because I can't find them anymore.
Mainly, I look for storing a shitload of long guns. That's the main thing I look for.
Uh,
I have a separate safe just for pistols.
Mine are kind of mixed together.
I'm on a live stream. Be quiet.
You were on a live stream. I
did not kick him.
I did not kick him. He dropped on his own. That wasn't me. But my wife was asking, your wife allows you to lay around the couch. I do what I want. I'm the man of the house, and she wasn't home, so I laid on the couch. Krabby Turtle saying, when you buy a safe at the big box shop, they deliver and place it where you want, like a basement.
I don't know. I've always had to take care of it myself. Except for this time, I ordered it, and it showed up broken.
Yeah, I don't think they do. So I don't know. I've never bought one of the big ones. Buddy of mine, where he bought a larger one, and I think they helped load it onto his trailer, and that was it. But there are safe companies you can call to move your safe. Tactical Fud's out there. Hey, Buck, how's it going? If you want a link, Buck, I'll send you one. Just let me know. And Illinois' Outcast. The outcasts are multiplying.
Wow. Do you have to leave the state to become an outcast, or are you an outcast in your own state? How does this work?
I think you can be an outcast in your own state. If you just don't fit in.
That's
So
how
how's
it
it
is for
going?
Rob.
Well, now there's New York Outcast, New Jersey Outcast, and Illinois Outcast.
Can I be an outcast of a state I don't live in? Can I be Ohio outcast?
Sure, if you want.
There we go.
How are you doing, Artak? What are you up to today?
I blundered and dropped my high-powered video before I was supposed to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I do have a subject if you want to talk
Sure.
about it.
What do you got?
Well, I watch another creator. His name is this channel name is The Quartering, and he does pop culture things and video games and movie reviews.
Yeah, I've heard of him, but I've never watched his stuff.
He's pretty. He's entertaining to say the least. The guy he's got doing his thumbnail game, man, he is pretty damn good. But he started dropping shorts 3 a week. So I'm gonna do it, and the reason why he's done that is because of, YouTube supposedly is wanting to go to the TikTok route and be, have the 5 seconds of ADHD attention that you can get out of people, and so they're leaning towards promoting channels that are doing that. He started doing this. So I'm thinking about doing it because I've noticed that my views have slacked off. Revenue has slacked off big time. And of course, I'm not here to do it for the money. I just want the money to pay for the channel itself to keep the upkeep of it. But anyway, and a lot of the things that he says make sense, and he's usually right 9 out of 10 times. So I'm going to do that for about 2 weeks. Yes, very, Smiggy42 just said it in the algorithm. So I'm gonna try it for 2 weeks and see if my view count goes back up to as it was before, and give it a try.
Yeah, if you care about metrics and all that, it can really skew your metrics a little bit. Um, but if you don't care, then doesn't
Right,
matter.
exactly. It's just that I seen that I was climbing pretty well there, and it seemed like I really can't say if YouTube actually throttled my channel back some, but it seems like it. So I don't know. I just have you seen that too, or do you feel that way?
I don't have any idea. My channel, um, my channel is kind of done the wrong way in all the wrong ways.
So is mine. I'm not perfect either here.
Because I had two videos that went viral, and I got two big bumps in subscribers off that. Doubled, basically more than doubled my subscribers. But it was not it was politics stuff and not gun related.
Right.
And so they aren't engaged in my videos. So I still have that same small core that like to watch my stuff, that will comment and all that. And then I've got all these subscribers who don't engage with my channel at all. If I was monetized and care about that, then I wouldn't care, because I've got the subscribers and I would be whatever. But since I don't care about, I'm not monetized, I don't care about, not interested in the money, then I would just, it would be nice to have more, those people engage, or, it, I don't know how to describe it. It's
Well, I know
from,
what you're saying. I'm the same way. I mean, I got like 1,600 subscribers, and um,
Nice.
I only got like maybe 50, 60 people that are commenting most of the time. I would like to see more interaction. Um, yeah, I know. I hadn't asked Clover Tack about it. I don't like to, bug somebody all the time with stupid questions.
yeah, he hasn't done his um, YouTube stuff in a while, where his
YouTube
YouTube
Academy.
Academy,
Yeah.
which there was some really good information, but since I'm doing my channel wrongly, that a lot of it doesn't really apply to me, because you know, I'm not as worried about the numbers or how to get the numbers, or, you know, doing things the way that everybody else is doing it, because that's, what gets you the numbers. I'm just, you know, half of this is just for me because I'm having fun and enjoying, and then half of it is hopefully some of what I'm doing, is, people will get something out of it.
Exactly. I just want to help. It was always fun for me and the girls to do, and that's always going to be. It was never to make money or to retire and do nothing but YouTube videos. I'm not going to be military arms channel. I don't try to be that.
Yeah.
And basically, I just want basically some young family or older family with girls say, hey, look, check these people out. His daughters go out and shoot, and maybe hopefully bring a couple more or a lot more females and family units on top of that into the gun community. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, that's when I started out, was, I wanted to do something, and I didn't know what to do, and I um, I was watching the Yankee Marshal, and through him kind of uh, got to know G Webs, and G Webs was kind of a big part, where he's, not to me specifically, but, when I would be around him, he's talking to everybody saying, do something, get out there and do something.
Right.
So I figured, well, I'll make a video, and if somebody watches it, they watch it. If not, then oh well. But that's kind of what started it.
The way I look at it, if I help one person, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. I sometimes I'll kind of get caught between, well, if I, did some of the YouTubery that gets you out there and popular, then you could reach more people, but that's not me, and I don't want to, I have to do this in a way where it's fun for me too, so I don't burn out. Because there's a lot of people that they'll hit 2, 3 years, 4 years, and then stop doing stuff because they burn out.
Right? Yeah, I've noticed that too on some of the channels that I followed.
Um, so it's I do things the wrong way, but I don't care.
I'm kind of ass backwards too, so it's okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm either shit posting or trying to do something important that doesn't work. That's my two modes.
That's uh, that's what I've used Facebook now for anymore. It's just shit posting.
I will say that being on YouTube and doing videos and being a creator, I have met people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. G23. G23 is one of the big reasons that I'm doing live chats. His second live chat was the first live chat that I was ever on, and so hanging out with him, being on his chats, and then kind of got me more comfortable with doing this. And then Gary, going on Gary's Sunday chats, and then you get to meet a lot more people than you would just sitting at home.
I agree. It was like I think it was either G or barbecue that I did a lot. I think it was barbecue first, and then I got on the G, and then met you, and of course I met you guys all through Clover Tag. So yeah, and of course Rob,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's kind of
Rob's pretty much got my daughter as hired muscle against me.
PNW Woods out there. If you want a Link Woods, there's one in the Gilded. It's kind of interesting to look at, when you talk to other people, to see what channels they came in watching, and then where that branched off into other channels that they saw, and then where they ran into you. It's kind of the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing. It's kind of interesting that when you
7 degrees of Yankee Marshall.
I really want to like Yankee Marshall. He makes it extremely hard sometimes.
Yeah. He does, and he is his own person, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks. Which I've talked to him in person. We've been to rallies together and stuff like that. So I've gotten to see him away from the YouTube, and he's what you see on YouTube is him. It's just more of him.
So it's not a persona.
On YouTube, it's more blown up.
Oh, okay.
He leans into it.
Yeah, and he's a little more serious now than he used to be, because he feels it's his mission is, I don't want to say his status, but having been around for as long as he has, and with the followers, he's trying to put pressure on other large channels to do better, not just be there for money.
Right. I mean, you're right. He does a lot of great programs like giving the gun away a month, the veteran gun program, the little what is it, TYM Triple P
Yeah.
project, whatever it is. The little dude I did the sheriff posse thing, and he did one for an animal shelter, and I sent him some money for that. And canine rescue, I think it was for one of the dog shelters here in Tennessee that got hit. And I thought, well, okay. I mean, I don't always agree with him, but he does a lot of good things, and I have to agree with him on that about trying to force the bigger gun channels to do something more, other than money. But yeah, he again, about 70% of the time, I'm like, okay, I'm behind you. So, but then again, if we all got along and agreed with each other, we'd be boring as hell.
Yeah. And I don't. There's people I like that other people don't like, and other people like that I don't like, and my kind of philosophy is I don't need everybody to like everybody that I like. If you didn't like Baron, that's between you and Baron, as far as I'm concerned.
Nope.
That happens a lot, actually.
I guess I liked it because I seem to heart all of his Instagram posts just about.
Yeah, I'm a shit poster on Instagram.
No, that's why, because I'm a natural smart ass myself, so I kind of gravitate to other smart asses.
Let me jump back here, and Tim S was up there saying, "Hey," so hey, back at you, Defense Dad. It's at work, working hard as always. Did I say hi to Vanessa Kitty?
No.
I don't
I
think
didn't.
so.
I am now. Right now, I'm saying hi to you, Vanessa. You and you alone. I'm saying hello.
That's some personalized OnlyFans stuff there.
That is actually how I got into YouTube also. I had to upload
OnlyFans
videos for school.
Oh.
See, Fox, I was getting ready to say OnlyFans too.
Oh. So Smeggy is saying did I miss? But he's saying that was my first live chats I was in. G-Webs, Never Enough Ammo, and Yankee. Then he started doing his own. And Woods says, we Washington people don't claim him. He's a West Virginian. Well, if you listen to him talk, he's forgets that he's not in Oregon.
Yeah, he's lived in Washington for like a decade, and he still thinks he lives in Oregon.
I don't think West Virginia claims him anymore either. I mean, we grew up. I think he's about 10 years older than I am, but we relatively were born and raised probably roughly than 75 miles apart from each other. For where he was
He's 55.
Yeah, he's about 8 years older than I am then. So, when he talks about West Virginia back in the day and like that, it's like, dude, it wasn't like that. I don't know where you're getting at. I'm from the same area as you are. He's like less than 75 miles apart. I was in northern Kentucky, and maybe it's because I was across the road or across the river from Cincinnati. I don't know.
G-Webs is out there. Go on G-Webs. There's a link in the Gilded if you want to jump in. And he's spouting something about veggie bacon. I don't think we need to see that on the screen there.
Is it veggie bacon or vegan bacon?
Oh, Doesn't
Both.
matter. At this point, it
Both.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, G Web. I'm full of fiber. My eyes are brown.
Defense Dad says, I don't have the attention span to run my own live chat. Get distracted. Squirrel, hey, I'm doing it. I rarely know what I'm doing.
I assume you sleep about halfway through G's chats.
I will say that has happened. Usually about halfway through, I'll get up and stroll around the house a little bit, maybe eat a snack. And I'm good for about the 3-hour mark, and then I'm done. That's why I duck out at 6 o'clock.
Here's a good question. Between you and I, how much sleep have we had in the last day?
I got up at 9 o'clock last night. Went to bed yesterday at probably between 3 and 4. Got
I've been
at
up
9.
24 hours.
Yeah, I haven't been up quite that long.
So it's going to be one of those chats.
So, Artak, it's your job to keep us on track.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I'm the one that gets 4 or 5 hours a night, of sleep. So I guess I'm good.
Vanessa was saying she was eating cold diced watermelon. I love watermelon. For the last couple of years, I haven't been able to find a good watermelon, but I really do enjoy watermelon.
Victoria likes it. I don't. I'm not a fan of watermelon. Cantaloupe, on the other hand, all these minis you put in front of me.
I don't hate cantaloupe, but I might eat it if I want something sweet, but it's not my favoritist.
My favorite.
Is cantaloupe sweeter than watermelon?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I don't know if it's sweeter. It's just if there's nothing else, if it's cantaloupe or nothing, I might have some cantaloupe.
Rob might not know we got a live going. I was telling him that you like watermelon and I'm the cantaloupe person.
What about honey? Do you like honeydew?
Yes.
Yeah. Brady's like, I'm waiting for my video.
Don't turn that crap down.
I know. He's asleep now.
Okay.
I'm probably going to come back here and talk for a little minute.
Okay. Yep. She likes honeydew as well. So does Emmett. He likes cantaloupe, watermelon, strawberries.
Jafet's out there. He's saying watermelon with a little salt. I have done that with overripe, kind of old watermelon when it's set in the fridge for a long time, and a little salt on it. A little pepper too sometimes.
The only fruits I eat are ones people think are veggies.
Tomatoes.
If that makes sense. Peppers.
Off.
And he likes melons. A lot of guys do.
Yep.
Defense Dad is saying cantaloupe is better than watermelon. And Ozzy Osbourne.
He looks a lot different than I thought he would.
Why is that?
I don't know. He just looks a lot different than what I thought.
Spaggy's saying, I used to love eating watermelon, and spitting seeds at each other was probably not the cleanest, but it was fun. That was the angriest my wife has ever been at me. It was either we were just after we got married or just before we got married, and we're sitting eating watermelon, and I grabbed her hand and spit the seed in her hand, And she got pissed. She left the house, and I didn't know where she went. She drove around for a couple hours. She was so angry that she couldn't believe that I did that.
I blew on him.
Oops.
I can't believe you did that either.
So now I'll pretend to do it, and then she'll. It's that half annoyed and half kind of she understands. It's kind of funny, but
Does that mean something? I just walked into the middle of that.
no, it's just rude. She's she's a proper Japanese girl, so it was.
Because I've seen things where, like, if you jam chopsticks into the top of something,
Oh,
here you
no.
go, and you jab chopsticks in there. That's like saying, like, I want you to die or something, right? It's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's rude. It's. I mean, it's if you eat rice, you eat every grain of rice because it's respectful to the people who pick that rice to eat every grain of rice that you have. So there's a lot about respect.
Traditions. I was just over chatting with Tony Simon off air, so I saw that you were doing something. I saw that Woods had a lot of questions about that carrot-based bacon product. You don't fry it as much as just warm it up in the sun, maybe.
Artac, that's kind of loud.
It's like, what do you want?
Sorry.
Shredding an aluminum can. So you won the thing the other day. Did you see that you won? As you must have left or whatever, and you won the random thing, Artac. So what patch did you want from yesterday?
Oh shit.
Oh, I'm in StreamYard. I'm over here trying to click and give you the overlay. It doesn't work when I don't have the chat.
I have the power.
I don't know. What was it? The panda.
Panda's gone.
The panda's. What's left?
That's a really good question. Let me go look at the picture on Instagram.
Okay. Hold on here. Where's my phone?
So what did that aluminum can do? Or is that like a little robot you're wailing on?
Who, me?
Yeah, sounds like you took a pair of vice grips to a tiny robot.
Actually, that was me putting the slide back on this high power clone. Trying to figure out why I'm pretty sure I figured out why the Taiwanese magazines weren't working in it. At least 4 out of the 5. It wasn't disengaging the trigger safety. And I tweaked it a little bit, and it seems to be working. And you done made me forget what I was going to do. Instagram, right?
Am I back in here now? I switched my internet over.
Yep. I hear you.
Can you do that to that? Share that?
What about the Wilden well-armed patch?
Oh, you seen them? Okay, yeah, no problem. Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. I don't
Same
have one
address.
of those.
Same address, right?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I bought this house. I'll be here for 25 more years unless I hit the lottery.
So there's a question. If you win a lottery or get some kind of windfall, create something, invent something, you hum a little thing and it becomes a viral hit song and you make a bunch of money. So something like that happens. Do you invest and upgrade where you're at, or do you book and find a different place altogether?
See, when I bought the house, I had no intentions on doing a gun channel. So neighborhood I got's pretty diverse, pretty nice and quiet, no stupidness. I would move out into the county, and I would still keep this house, but this house would be to create generational wealth for my 2 girls and my grandson. So I'd still keep the house. I would just if it was that amount of money where I could buy another house and then rent this one out. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a super good answer, I think.
Because I grew up poor, I don't recommend it.
I would move. We were actually, my wife and I had been just started talking about um, moving when my son graduates high school, if he goes off to college. And then my daughter came along. So it kind of squashed all that.
Do you get a big gap between your kids like I do? There's like 6 years difference between my two girls.
There is 14-year difference
Wow.
between the two. Yeah, surprise.
Yeah, yeah. By the way.
My older brother is 21 years older than me.
Like one of 12 kids or something?
No, only 4.
Are they all
He's the
21
oldest, I'm
years?
the youngest.
21 years apart.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, my dad's Clint Eastwood. He's like 93.
Vanessa's thinking
Somebody
about
out there has to be the.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just saying, somebody out there has to be the couple that had like a baby the soonest, and then stayed together the longest, and then had another baby. You know what I mean? So like somebody out there is like an actual furthest apart siblings.
My dad was 21 when he had him. So he's 42 when he had me.
When I was in school, my one friend, I think his dad was like 70. So he was like 60 something when he was born.
My dad was somewhere around 40. Nobody knew how old he was. When he joined the Army, he used one of his sister's birthdays. And, so my mom didn't know exactly how old he was, and he made it to 50. And yeah, so Vanessa Kitty says she's thinking about making cinnamon buns for Monday morning. I'm going to ask, raisins or no raisins?
No raisins.
No raisins, yeah.
Or nuts.
Yeah, and all that stuff is made to either, I don't know what they even exist for. There's really no reason for raisins.
I love raisins and cinnamon rolls.
Is it a strategic
do
love?
Do you like to eat things and go, what was that? And then, I'm assuming it's a raisin.
I also like to put them in oatmeal sometimes.
That's different in my mind. But is it like strategic, like Hawaiian pizza, where you're like, I know I can get the whole pizza to myself because everyone else hates it?
No, it's mainly just that's the way my mom made them. That's what I grew up with.
Gotcha.
I know people that would do that, though. I have to have nuts. And then it's like, I don't really care about nuts one way or the other, but everybody else hates nuts, so that means these are all mine.
Yep.
You need nuts? How about these nuts?
You find that one thing you can tolerate that no one else can, and then that's your food from then on.
Growing up, that's I had 4 sisters. Well, technically, I'd have to sit down and count, but there's more than that. My dad got around, but so I learned that if I learned to eat the stuff that nobody liked, I got to eat it. Instead of having to race everybody to eat first, so you got to eat before everything disappeared.
Now, my grandfather used to tell a tale of that when he was a child, but he was like one of 12 kids, and they was all born in the Depression in the 30s. And then he likes to tell the tale where they all fight, where all the boys were fighting over a pork chop bone.
Yeah, we weren't quite that bad.
That's something that I think happens depending on how the family dynamic is. But my grandpa would say the same thing. When he had a bunch of brothers and stuff, they would, his mom would put the food down, and then it was like, the internal struggle of who was getting which bigger pork chop type of thing.
Okay, so here's a new topic. Magazine cutoffs or not? Yay or nay?
Never.
Yeah, no,
I don't care for them. I've got a guy that I work with. He's an ex-cop, and he's got still the cop mentality where if he's tussling with somebody, he wants to drop the mag so they can't shoot him.
I don't really mind. It's just kind of a pain in the ass when you're working on them.
Yeah,
but when I'm shooting, I don't really care.
The CHP gun, you got to get those 3 little lever things stuck back down in when you're putting the slide back on.
Yeah, there's like now on my M&P Brinks gun that I got, it's the Gen 1 with the magazine, disconnect in it. And it is a pain to take the slide off. But pretty much all the magazines I pick up for it already have. It's not an issue. But for this high powered here I got, it was just a Gersant. With these Taiwanese mags that I've used for years, don't want to work because of this disconnect. So I'm really, really thinking about pulling that damn thing out because it's just aggravating as hell.
So Illinois' Outcast said his dad split when he was 10, and his a brother that he never met. I had a cousin that invited me when I grew up kind of away from the Samoan side of my family. And then when we kind of reconnected, and my cousin asked me to go to her wedding. And so, sure, we'll go to the wedding, with all the family and whatnot. And then when she introduced me to her, I think her half brother, but introduced me to her brother as her brother. She, tells her brother, "This is my brother, Tim." It's like, oh, I didn't realize there was another one. There's takes me a while.
Oh, in other words, by qualifying which brother, that's how you realized there was another brother?
Well, no, that she was my sister, not my cousin.
Oh, okay. That's a whole nother level of awareness, yeah.
Yeah. But, it's, you just kind of roll with it. When because there's a dozen or so kids. Like I said, I have to sit down and count to make sure I don't miss anybody. And most of them are half because my dad liked to share the love.
I used to play softball with a guy. We called him Head on purpose, was his nickname, but he had like 10 kids. None of the kids were by the same mother. He was like your dad. He liked to spread the love.
Super Bad videos out there. How's it going? Super Bad's been doing a lot of gaming stuff, but if you like Hot Wheels, he's got some older videos where he's restores Hot Wheels or customizes them. It's kind of interesting. So if you're into that, kind of swing by, check out his videos.
There used to be another person with a very similar name, and I just always assumed it was that person. So this is a different person, evidently.
Uh,
Oh, apparently there's more than one Baron also.
really?
Yeah, somebody
You don't have more than one
Baron
Baron?
Saturday?
Oh
I
yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
you.
No, it wasn't me.
I've seen the name.
Would have
I
been
don't
funny
think-
if he won and you sent me his prize, though.
Gore.
Why wouldn't I have? I thought it was you.
Yep.
So Illinois Outcast is asking, "Have you figured out who I am yet?" I'm not sure, and
Tanya.
I think if I had listened closer to Gary's Friday show, then I would know, because I was listening to it this morning while I was um, doing something. I don't even remember what I was doing this morning, but while I was listening, and then I caught that people were changing their names to Outcast, so I probably would have caught who this is, but offhand, I do not know.
Do we know anyone from Illinois?
So I've heard that there's a little piece of metal hanging out, and it's considered a hanger or a rod to put the firearm barrel on. But in reality, it's the little antenna from the mechanical device that's impregnated into the wood and planted in there. And then, what is there, some kind of brain control going on, making everybody change their names? The first stage.
What?
I think it's an earworm, actually. I can feel it crawling in.
Who did Krabby Turtle used to be? I know.
MKJO.
Oh, okay.
So that's Ozzy. Yeah, I would have never got it.
Well, I kind of thought it was Tony.
Tony Simon?
No, we have an Illinois Tony also.
Oh.
Well, that makes me wonder if Ozzy is Early Watch Illinois.
Oh, this is getting confusing. I'm
We're all screwed now.
But let me do this real quick here. Find it. Where to go? Where is it? Hold on. Right there. So for stickers, patches, t-shirts, and other 2A related sundries, check out gearwebsites.com. And then let me do one more thing here while I'm thinking about it.
Disco is dead. Disco is not dead. Disco is life.
So this coming up Wednesday, we should be back on track for doing the Wednesday night mouse parties, 10:30 p.m. Pacific. That is until I have to work a Wednesday again. But for now, we'll be able to do our Wednesday night show again.
Yeah, we had Barbecue host the takeover for us last week.
He
That was pretty
did.
fun.
Somebody did a takeover of me. I appreciate it, and I should have sent him a link. I didn't send him a link. We were even
If he was
talking
on
about
Gilded, he would have got one.
Yeah, but he wouldn't see it. Mad Sexy's out there. How's it going, Mad?
God.
Blind ass wouldn't have seen it anyway.
So how you doing, Smeggy?
Same old, same old. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Oh, by the way, now that we got a bunch of people in here, I should announce the CMP has Garens in stock again. So you can go pick up a weapon of war for $650, no tax, free shipping, right to your door.
No, excuse me. Those are not weapons of war. Those are antiquated antiques, completely worthless. No need to register.
Clunky old rusty relics. Those aren't weapons of war. Nobody won a war with those that I'm aware of.
They have wood. Wood is no good.
They still use 30-06 black tip for the test for level 4 armor.
Clunky old armor, maybe.
While I'm thinking about it also, let me share the community page. Hopefully I didn't close it. Shoot. Hold on. There. I gotta find it. Yep, there we go. I got her. There's a poll over on the community tab that I'm doing a build, a 450 Bushmaster build, and I have an Aero Precision lower, and most of the other choices are going to be put up for vote. So every time I'm ready to add something or make a decision, I'll put up a poll and a picture explaining what your choices are, so everybody can vote, and we'll build a rifle by committee. Right now, it's should we keep the build mainly Aero Precision parts, which originally that's what I was going to do with this build, but when I thought it might be interesting to see what happens if we put the choices up for vote, see what we end up with as a final product. And there's 45 votes so far, and 51% say yes, keep it all Aero Precision. 49% say no. The one drawback with keeping it all Aero Precision is it limits our choices. But I'm putting it up for vote, so whatever everybody votes for, that's what we're going to go for.
Yeah, I say Frankenstein it all the way. That's the most fun part is being able to have all this different stuff and be able to customize. The only problem would be if you have a community of trolls, they're going to keep picking the worst possible thing for you just to be funny. So make sure that no matter what choices, you at least would still want it. Because if you offer, should I get this pink, blah, 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 they're like, yep, I'm going to do that.
It's, I do control what the choices are, but out of the 4 or 5 choices that everybody has, that'll be what the community picks.
So you're not going to give them the choice to pick tack nuts for the foregrip?
No,
or anything?
There will be not. There will. These nuts will not be on this rifle.
I feel like this is the opposite of the chat. What was that? Even last week or whenever the heck it was. I just remember being in it of bubbling out whatever that gun was, and everyone picking up the worst suggestions. This is like the opposite. Let's try and pick the best suggestions.
Well, it's for I will steer this in a logical direction, but again, ultimately the choices that are made will be up to everybody. So if you haven't voted, head over there and vote. There's also a video kind of explaining exactly what I just explained, but you can still watch it. So it should be fun, I think. And it'll be a series, and I'll do videos as we go along. and it'll probably take a while because it'll just be when I save up for whatever next choice that we're gonna do. So I don't know how long this will take, how many choices. Each choice that we make may affect what choices there are down the road, which that's kind of the interesting part.
My two questions are: have you decided on a barrel manufacturer and a bolt manufacturer?
No, and that will partly, we got to see what happens after this, where we go next. E, somebody I'm not sure if it was a comment on here. Let me take a look here. It might have been on the video.
Is my
That,
internet working?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're still here.
My problem with your whole like choose your own adventure, it takes a community to build an AR approach, this hippie like approach to make an AR, is that how do we know if everyone who's commenting or answering these polls has gone through a background check? Is there some sort of universal poll background check so that we know we're only getting poll results from people that are authorized by
Whoa,
government to have
look
in the
at
first
that.
place?
50-50.
Yeah, Two Gun Kitty, the catnip outlaw, said that Ballistic Advantage is owned by Arrow, so that would be an Arrow part in my opinion.
I was just shopping their barrels today.
Yeah, I do not know what would happen. I did not think about a tiebreaker if there's a tie. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe you
If there's a tiebreaker, you have to build two. One with all Arrow and one with everything else.
You flip your credit card.
Whoever, if you know somebody who owns a 450 Bushmaster, let them be the tiebreaker.
How about if it's a tie, you do user submitted parts? They can send you the D's nuts, foregrip, and then you can have a regular gun you build.
I would, no. It's kind of that goes along with the philosophy of I don't have sponsors. I don't take things from manufacturers. That's so I can't take things from viewers. Which hey, that reminds me. Let me close this out because I got a question for G-Webs. Your opinion on this patch, Mr. G-Webs?
No, I can't hardly see it.
Oh.
But it's some sort of a flag with some sort of thing going on in the union.
Yeah.
Is it an electrician's nut for old-fashioned conduit?
It's gun shop. That's their logo. Is a kind of a gear with a
nice
G inside.
Well, your hat is the normal way, so that means the patch is backwards. So it's either meant to be worn horizontal, which isn't authorized by anybody, or it's for your right shoulder, which creates the human as the vehicle, which I don't know. The military does do that, but Uncle Sam gives you those patches. So as far as that goes, it's weird, but it's not a flag. It's just reminiscent of a flag. So personally, I don't know. But if it's a gun shop doing it, at least they didn't take the American flag and then just write their name on it.
Yeah, because I got this for you, but I didn't know if you would think it was a desecration of the flag because it's kind of a flag.
No, I'm okay with art and stuff. But my other thing is that for the shop, it's just not like a great branding, right? Like they could have done something that just is more obvious for the shop. Like they got a pretty decent logo there. They could have gone with a rounder patch or odd shaped patch and just dig into the. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was. They don't make patches anymore, and this was when I was in there buying the lower. I asked them for a patch, if I could get a patch, and he's like, the salesman's like, "Oh, we haven't had patches in a couple of years because they used to have patches that were just the gear logo." And so that's what I figured I'd pick up and send to you. And he goes, "Well, let me grab one." What? I don't know.
Go ahead.
It might, but so the guy grabbed it off his personal bag and gave it to me. So,
Oh, that's even cooler. So I'll take it for damn sure. Like I
Okay.
say, I'm not a big fan, so I appreciate that, but I'm not a big fan of the ones that wiggle on a flag, but that's just flag-ish. And people got the right to do what they want. But the fact that somebody yanks it off their bag, that's my patches are all about the story. So that's awesome. Thanks.
so at some point I'll send it out to you.
Yeah, no hurries. But whenever I get it, I'll keep that one around there. Thanks.
How's it going, DJ?
It's going well. Glad to stop in. Hey, I got a little anecdote about Arrow coming off the discussion of your build. If you got a second.
Yeah.
So this afternoon was the 1-year anniversary of a local business called Midwest Firearm Solutions here in Omaha. And I was doing a brief tour through their facility. It's a small bay in an industrial park here. And when it got to the purpose of their business and its discussion, it's Cerakoting. And check this out. As a subcontractor to Arrow, Cerakoting on lowers was done here in Omaha, Nebraska. I just had to share that right away because I heard you talking about and knew about the build that you had going on. I did not know they had done that. He said that he didn't make contact with Arrow, but yet they reached out to him, and his presence is pretty minimal online and otherwise. And so he was surprised. And that was about a year ago. And so starting last fall, he did, I think, 5,000 pieces on his first run for them.
Wow.
So just thought I'd jump in and share that. Yeah, odd that there's this, you're doing this Arrow build. It's like, yeah, coincidental, ironic at the least.
Yeah, I would have thought that they would have had somebody in state do it.
Yeah, certainly that was my impression too. And he was surprised, not having made contact with them, that they would have reached out. But I guess they saw, at some point, or he was referred by someone else. And so that contract, what that did, because if you got a minute, I did talk to the gentleman for almost an hour. It was really an interesting, engaging conversation. That contract solidified his ability to stay in business and also do additional investing, not just for his business infrastructure, but for some of the equipment, which included a laser engraver. Now, I've not been in the immediate presence of a laser engraver that's made specifically for metals. And he wasn't able to do a demo because of the like health concerns, because of the fumes, that kind of thing. You had to turn on air handling equipment, and it was really hot in there today. So he showed me he's doing challenge coins. Those and the blanks for those were really interesting. Titanium, I guess, is a metal that has some interesting characteristics when you laser engrave it. But he also does all matter of custom parts as well. And I'm not trying to be a commercial. I was just really impressed in what this guy had going in such a little spot and that connection to Arrow. So back to you, Fa.
Oh, yeah. I just will say hello to American Justice of Texas. Howdy. And yeah, Arrow is real close to Woods and about 20 minutes or so north of me. I've never been to the shop itself, because I don't care to go to Tacoma.
I thought they moved last year to a new site.
Well, I thought they moved from one part of Tacoma to another part of Tacoma.
Well, I thought they moved out of county to a new county.
I don't know.
Does Tacoma still have an aroma? Or is that gone?
No, it's still there. There was a pulp factory.
Mill.
Yeah, pulp mill in Tacoma. So you smelt it.
Oh, yeah.
When you went into Tacoma, and you can still smell it sometimes, even though it's been shut down for years.
We have one here too that just shut down a couple of years ago. It depends on how the wind was blowing. It was called Bowaters. They produce paper products and stuff like that. So, but yeah, depending on how the wind blows, it would, especially in the morning, it would gag a maggot.
It might have been Rainier that moved, because Rainier is over there also. Rainier Arms. They might have been the one that moved.
we also got 2 bakeries here. We got we got a Mars plant here in town. So depending on what they're making that day, that gets a little. And then there's the other bakery is called Flowers Bakery. They make like the Walmart great value stuff, and they're like 4 blocks away from the house, so you can really smell them when you're doing cookies or Nutty Buddies.
The town that I used to live in, half hour south of here, the town right next to it, there was a spearmint plant. And they made spearmint for, all the gum companies and whatnot. And every time they do a batch, you could smell it.
We tried to do a company one time years ago where we were going to make spears out of mint. That way, when you killed an animal or whatever, it had a mint flavor right away in the wound channel.
Like, obviously you're joking, but don't they do that for bow hunters? I thought I've seen that before.
They
Or
probably
is that
use
a
the same
separate thing?
technology we would use when we developed that technology to make the arrows out of mint to harden the mint leaves. We just use that same technology to make mint flavored bacon.
There's
mint slurry bacon.
There's seasoning shotgun rounds you can get.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm thinking of. Now that I don't know where bow hunting came in.
What if you put bacon bits into a shotgun shell? Take out the shot, put in bacon bits instead, and then you shot a pig. No one would ever be able to put you in jail for that.
No, you just have a lot of hipsters hanging around. All that
They'd
bacon.
never be able to prove nothing. It would just be a bunch of pig inside a pig.
He's not. He was fine when he came in.
So what you're saying is you should grind up some bones and put them in a shotgun and then shoot somebody with bone. Then they'd never be able to tell that you shot them.
It looks like there's a lot of extra bone in here, but we can't tell.
Yeah.
It's not like we can put all the bone together. Unless you shot somebody in one of those museums where they do that for a living, and then they'd be like, wait a minute.
They covered that on Mythbusters, and the pathologist said that they could tell that the bone didn't belong there.
So you need to have like certain rounds, like
Come on,
this
you
came
take,
from a
like-
skull, and then you shoot them in the skull.
Well, I was
This
going
is
to say
femur.
take like a hip or something, right? Some big bone. You make one slug out of it. It's not going to stay together when it hits somebody. It's going to fall apart into little pieces of bone.
You shoot them in the
What's
hip.
odds of them going, oh, this looks like a piece of femur in his chest? Like, they're not going to know. It's just going to look like a little chunk of bone, right? I'm pretty sure we got the bone slug loophole.
Yep.
I'm worried about murderers using this.
And then do you want to cut it better? I already
What if we just made pump action shotguns illegal? That'd feel a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, they're super dangerous because they don't jam as easy.
I mean, they are weapons of war. They've been used in war before.
I've been looking for that thing where I figured, I heard somebody talk about the number of money or the cost of how much it would be to pay for all the coverage of all these murderers, mass murderers and whatnot, and looking at the money spent, like the opportunity cost of how much they're deciding to use, how much money they're deciding to leave on the table because they're not charging someone else for the time, and how much they're basically how much resources they're spending on the saturation marketing of this whole thing. Like if you were, and I'm pretty sure it was like the size of the Super Bowl and the size of whatever the next movie, the new movie that's out. What's the new movie that's out? Is it the new Jurassic Park or something? And or the new Matrix or something? They were comparing it to a fairly new movie, and the marketing budget for that movie compared to how much time they're spending on the mass killers or the mass murderers. And
Top Gun.
Top Gun, that might have been the movie. Thanks. Did you see what I'm talking about? Because I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, that was a good idea. That's a cool angle. And I didn't write it down or make a note. and I can't remember where that conversation came up. So I thought maybe it was in one of these testimonies. So I downloaded the 12 hours of testimony from yesterday or the other day, and then I unmuted, made a shit ton of noise, and then went through that downloaded 12 hours and like started scrubbing, I guess they call it, like going back and forth and chopping it up into the sound bites and the good points and the interesting parts and the stuff that's, you know, like when that lady said that assault rifle rounds will make you into dust.
Yep.
That's in the midst of some other stuff, but I know anybody's ever only going to hear about the dust part. But she's trying to make a point, and she's inept. So she put her foot in her mouth, and that's what's going to be highlighted, and that's what's going to create more rift or whatever. So I was trying to look at it, or I ended up looking at it from that angle and making all these cuts. Anyhow, I've been also looking for that dang aspect. So anyway, I guess I was getting into like, I just got done listening to that 12 hours, and there's a ton of stuff, I guess, to get into as to whatever we were just going from on the topic there.
You know what you can do? You can open up the transcript on YouTube, and you can keyword search that entire show.
Let me try that. I think I tried, and maybe it's just too new. It's a 12-hour thing, so it hadn't happened yet.
He stepped on the computer and fucked it up.
A lot of times people...
G-Webs, which day of the week is it that the...
Swear to God, you're gonna shut your...
Sorry, I had a question about which day of the week on Daily Gun Show it was that you share tips and tricks that might be a good one to slap on. When can we check that out?
Well, dude, I got to remember where I found it so I can find it. I'm pretty sure they said something like, these results aren't published yet, but I got to look at this article or something to that effect. So I got the idea that's like, if I remember right, they were showing it because I can remember seeing some like bullet points or something on the screen, I thought. That's why I was thinking it wasn't just us talking to each other. I think I was watching a presentation or somebody had the screen and they had brought something up, like say like in a picture type of thing. But.
Yeah, that transcripting and Baron's suggestion about how to search it, that's really useful. I'm going to put that to work right away as well. Like little tips like that'll come out in live chats. I can remember one where someone indicated to me that I could actually accelerate the speed and playback on a YouTube video. It's now become absolutely indispensable. And 2X helps me really get through catching up on some of the longer form chats. It's interesting what some of y'all sound like as Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I just want to say, hey, Wesley Foster, and Rich White is out there, and he's concerned about the outcast disease that's spreading. It seems to be localized within the gun community, so
yes, you should be concerned. If he gave you one of those quote-unquote display racks, which are actually just some kind of brain taken over device with an antenna sticking out of it, then be concerned.
Well, there are some right back there.
Oh, look at he feels obligated to get each one of us to have one. No big
Join
deal.
us.
Just get one in your house. Exactly.
Join us.
Get two, so you can give one to a friend, and then they can get two, and give one to a friend, and they can get two, and give one to a friend.
And so on, and so on, and so on.
That's funny that you do that because in the video I accidentally dropped today, I did a commercial for Rob in it because I just had that high power displayed on it on my stand that he sent me.
Even though he's not here and it somewhat breaks the rules. Normally, the rule is Rob has to be here for me to play that, but since we were talking about it.
But since I'm under his mind control, I'll play his commercial anyway.
Buy a stand. My sore bicep is out there.
What are you going to leave your guns just laying around? That could be his tagline.
Eventually, the searing headaches go away from the beeping. You get used to it.
He might want to get his bicep checked out. That looked painful.
That's right. A little duct tape, paper towel. Good go.
You put a rubber band on your other arm, and then you get that isometric tension. And
His bicep turned to dust. Maybe that lady was right.
Illinois Outcast says, face it, Rich. West Virginia Outcast is your future. One of us. One of us. Google gobble. Google gobble.
We accept her. We accept him. Google goggle.
It's a freaky movie.
The arcane references that'll roll out in chats, I swear.
What movie was that?
Freaks.
Freaks. About circus freaks.
It's not too long, so check it out if you got the time.
Yeah, it's from like the 30s. And they use actual circus freaks.
Not the imitation freaks in the other movies.
No.
The vegan bacon of freaks.
Vegan bacon.
Boys with ball on chin.
Man falls off bicycle.
But my sore bicep.
My sore bicep.
Travis P11 is awesome at 2.5 speed. I don't know if I could take that. He's fast enough at 1 time speed.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are talking about the old recipes for the vegan bacons where they might have been a little chewy, but the new slurry-based recipes where they sun dry them, they're nowhere near as rubbery.
Every time you say slurry, it just makes me want to walk away. Like celery slurry. Wasn't that the original celery slurry in that first chat where it came up? Eek.
Every time he says vegan, something makes me think of Soylent Green.
No, that's people, though. That's like the opposite. This is
Soylent
the
Orange.
alternative.
Soylent
Cannibal.
Orange or green or blue.
Yeah, what were the other colors, do you suppose? I mean, we know that green was, but were they just changing the color? Was that part of the thing, just to throw people off?
I don't remember. Was that just because it was Tuesday or whatever, or was that like a flavor?
They had different colors when they were selling it. In the
But
movie.
I thought it was like Wednesday ate one color and Thursday ate a different color. I don't remember.
It's been a while since I watched it. Makes me want to check it out again. Yeah, they look like giant chiclets, for God's sake.
Yes.
They look like if you ever get the emergency rations for like a life raft. It's just like a big cake like that, except that not usually it's yellow, but like a big
Hardtack.
Big pound cake. Yeah, kind of old dried version of pound cake.
Well, you can. Let me get back up here.
Yeah, Soylent Green nowadays is a thing, and it's literally something where it's designed for you to be able to it's got all these nutrients in it. It's like if you needed to be on a slow calorie diet or whatever, and you're still going to get all your nutrients doing that.
Is it made out of Facebook whistleblowers?
Let's see if I can make this a little bigger here. No, that doesn't work because the tagline is as good as humanly possible.
That's hilarious. 21st century marketing. Great sense of humor.
Yeah, it doesn't get big enough.
It's people.
This is one step too close to like imitation cannibalism food. I don't like this.
Yeah.
We're going down a dark road now.
Like if they can make imitation hamburgers.
The best part is everybody's like, "Oh, this is so ironic. I'm gonna get some and drink it. Oh, I like it. It's so good and everything." Like, and then they figure out like, "What do you mean? We didn't do nothing ironic here."
Yeah, I'd be a little. I'd question, natural ingredients used, something like that.
Look, if you fed a bunch of people carrots and other things, and then you just said carrots and other things and some other ingredients and some natural ingredients, and then the carrier of all the carrots and other things was just the natural ingredients.
Yeah, this one, Rich is saying about the drink. The drink is the one that I saw first a couple of years ago. This one is a bar, I think.
Oh,
Like-
okay. I've only
like
heard
a
of the drink
protein
also.
bar.
And it was like a meal replacement type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna look. I'm gonna look on Amazon for it then.
I figured out a new thing to drink yesterday after watching YouTube.
My sore biceps asking, what does Soylent Green taste like? Well, it varies from person to person.
If it was a clown, it'd taste funny.
Tastes like chicken.
Smells like tuna. What?
Tuna Fish Tuesday.
Can I ask a question of you guys?
You can
Why
try.
is it- Okay. Why is it whenever you give a dog a bath, the next time you go outside, he like jumps into the bushes and rolls around in the dirt?
Because
Like,
they hate
dude,
that perfume
dude.
smell. It's not natural to them, like that smell of perfume or flowers and stuff. They probably don't like that.
I spent all morning getting him nice and clean because he's been itchy, and I'm not sure if it's like he's got something on his skin, it's not like a rash. I checked it, but like, some kind of irritant or whatever. So I gave him a nice bath and brushed them all out. Looked so handsome. And then he just literally like nose dove into the bushes back there and got all these like little sticks and pollen and all sorts of crap all over him.
Gizzard Gary's out there. Hey, Gizzard. How's it going?
Yeah, I would use oatmeal shampoo for my dog. It didn't have like a floral scent.
And that's something with actual oatmeal that you can make. It's also good for dogs that have, well, any pet is going to be, most pets, I guess I should have said, are going to be tolerant of it. And it's like an oatmeal slurry. But irritants in the summer, that kind of thing, had an American bulldog that had some skin issues sometimes, and a vet tech girlfriend who taught me that. Wish I could give you the direct recipe, but check it out.
For some reason, got me thinking of peppermint soap, which is actually a thing. Dr. Bronner's is the one that kind of came up. I had a friend that gave me a bottle of that. There we go. He liked it because he would tell women about it and then get them to try it with him in the shower, because it would give you a little tingle from the peppermint. Didn't do anything for me. I never felt the tingling, so I gave it away. Oh, it smelled like peppermint.
Maybe he didn't touch you right.
I don't know.
So same girlfriend, that product as well. She was a hippie girl. She was a fish hippie. But that's like, it's like a general, it's like has antiseptic qualities. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And you might think that most hippies would smell like patchouli. A lot of them smelled like Dr. Bronner's too, because people with dreadlocks would use it because it was a real gentle thing.
What is it? Peppermint and oil?
Yeah. Do you know why hippies wear patchouli oil?
Yes.
So blind people can hate them too.
Yeah, there's something that's undeniable. That and Nog Champa, same crew.
So here's
Castile
the
Coast.
question. Here's the real question. Would you rather have hippies without the patchouli oil?
Ooh.
And they would just smell like bums, because then they're a bum.
Is there an option where we don't have to have them at all?
Well,
yeah, just play the music really loud.
Well, here's the deal. The real deal that nobody likes to talk about is if you, let's say you could snap your fingers and there's no more hippies anymore. Then who's going to organically smash the vegetable slurry for the vegan bacons? It's basically smashed the same way that they would smash grapes in the olden days. A bunch of hippies take their shoes off and smash on all the different root vegetables, make that slurry. When you can have a machine do it.
Natural
Yeah,
flavor
you can't
added.
use a machine, man. That's like capitalism or something, man.
Is the machine ran by an animal or powered by animal power?
What, like a goat on a treadmill?
Exactly. Or 1,000 gerbils?
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Don't you think?
Animal labor making vegan food.
A little too
Come on,
ironic.
DJ.
Oh, jeez. And
Come
I
on,
really do
DJ.
think it's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. Yeah. Some good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought you'd figure?
I love that comedian that breaks it down is like, that's not irony. Like, that just sucks. Like, oh, you're getting stuck in traffic when you're late. Yeah, that's just a bad day.
Hippies have the right to exist. I just wish, they are not in a hurry. I am usually in a hurry, so just move to the side. That's all I ask.
Some of my
Exist-
best friends are hippies, and they would be glad to let you pass on the left. Like, coming around.
You could have just a hippie lane only.
That'd be yeah.
It's called the alley out back.
Shit.
But they could work at skate parks and let Cartman jump over them with a skateboard.
Well, with legalization now, increasingly, it finally gives a great place for a hippie to work, right?
Correct.
That has to be like the dream job for so many. Can't believe it when it's legalized in their states. Like, dude, finally, something I could really put my strengths to work for.
I feel like a lot of them are already doing that job illegally.
Fair. Fair. I do like the name for those that work, behind the counter. Instead of bartender, it's bud tender. First time I heard that in a dispensary, I was cracking up. That's just a great use.
Plus, now they have to pay taxes on it. That's a bummer, man.
Mike White saying got to work tomorrow, so unfortunately, I will be missing all of the great live chats. That's a bummer for sure.
Am I back now?
Yep, you're back.
Good internet.
See Wood's comment out there about the street.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
The hippie lane would be a circle. Well, the question is, if you have a vegan snack store adjacent to a marijuana dispensary, would it still stay in business?
Oh fuck yeah!
If they have a door,
Best thing
if they had
about
a door
marijuana
between
being
the two,
legal, the two things that are great about marijuana being legal recreationally is that it's gonna end the concept that the state has the moral right or authority to decide what people can do on their, and for their own minds or whatever, their own decisions. So that part of it's great, and the repercussions of that, I suspect, because we're already seeing it, are going to be, none of the fears that people had. And then everybody's going to be able to leave each other alone a little bit better and be more comfortable leaving each other alone. And that should echo out to our gun fight. And then once the gun thing goes away and once the NFA is gone, people figure out, well, wow, now you can own marijuana and a bell-fed gun and there's still no problems, right? And then people will seriously figure out that individual freedom isn't a negative thing. Like it's all good. But the other benefit of the marijuana being legal is the hemp part of it. And depending on who you listen to and which history you want to listen to, one of the reasons marijuana is illegal is because part of the plant makes you high, and alcohol and tobacco and just people wanting to push their moral stuff and exercise the state rights, had all kinds of issues there. But the other side of it is the marijuana plant is called weed because it grows everywhere like a weed. It's a very easy to grow plant. And the vascular structure of the stalk of a marijuana plant is not unique, but it's very much like a bamboo. So from the biology and the renewable natural resource side of it, the fact that marijuana got taken out in the 1930s at the same time nylon and other things were coming onto the scene looking for basically useful ways to use the byproducts of the petroleum industry, and that evolution of materials and products is awesome, but it was done on the back of the natural research into the marijuana stuff. So now that marijuana, people are getting off of the marijuana side and they're letting up on it, we're going to see hemp products and clothing which are way more comfortable than regular clothing. Go get some hemp clothing. They're stronger than cotton and they're like a bamboo. If you've ever worn bamboo clothing, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's lighter weight and it's more comfortable to wear than cotton. Cotton is great. I'm a big fan of cotton, but bamboo is better and hemp is somewhere in between. So we'll see longer lasting, more interesting clothing coming out of it and everything that applies there. But the vascular structure of the stalk of the marijuana plant is where we're going to see nanocarbons and nanotubes and stuff get developed for. So we can carbonize the vascular structure of a plant that is literally got like a 4, actually, depending on the plant and what they can stress it out to, multiple harvests each year that use almost no resources compared to other products. And we could be getting usable material out of there that we can use to build structures that no one's even dreamed about until now. So with the innovation of AI going right past all the old-fashioned design and, in material sort of all the different variations, it goes through all the experimental stuff through kind of artificial means. The material side of marijuana is going to be a boom that no one's even paying attention to. So if you really want to invest some money, invest in hemp and hemp research. That side's going to blow up. And whether or not the multinationals are going to grab it before it becomes a thing will be the only issue, I think. But I've always been looking forward to that ever since I started learning about I used to go to school for plant science and stuff, and marijuana, as far as a renewable natural resource, is something that's insane. And I don't think we invented, I don't remember where I think marijuana comes from, not rainforest, but like different kind of places, but it thrives here. Like we could really, and as far as like a replacement crop, we use a hell of a lot of petroleum fertilizers. If you want to get into why I've been a vegan since '89, let's talk about petroleum fertilizers and the cost of a pound of protein. And, if you really want to have a discussion and you want to get past the bullshit hippie crap, let's talk about strategic ways to run our own lives to be a better citizen. And when you start getting into the crop rotations and what's good for replenishments of the soil so that we don't have to be dependent on non-renewable resources from other countries for our fertilizer, hemp gets really cool. So I'm really looking forward to Biden or somebody on the Democrat side, because I don't see a Republican doing it, just saying, okay, we're taking it off the Schedule 1, and that opens up all that stuff. So when you think about why isn't it a legal substance, because you got Exxon and you've got DuPont and you've got big players like that that do not want to see a bunch of individuals start going nuts with a plant that's got just a ton. It's like bamboo. It's like a very, very, very modular, usable plant. Anyway, sorry, I went on a soapbox there, but
Yeah, kind of touching on what you were saying as far as like when it first got illegal. I forget the dude's name, but there was some guy. He owned like a giant like paper mill or whatever, and he was very much against hemp for making paper because he owned like whatever a bunch of forest or trees and the paper mill and blah 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 whatever. And so he was one of the big lobbyists to try and get rid of it. But I think it's like an acre of hemp is like you can get the same amount of stuff as like 10 acres of trees. So like you don't even need as much space to get the same amount of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And over, like multiple times a year, as opposed to whatever. And then when you're taking that product and processing it, it takes nowhere near the machinery because it's a smaller thing to deal with.
And ecologically, it's sound. I mean, we're touching on just some of the reasons that is a great plant. And I mean, we started off, with marijuana shops, and how that's a thing that's spreading. And production of domestic hemp had moved all to Canada, and there were just a few places the government even allowed hemp to be grown as a crop. Now, growing up in the Midwest, or anytime you've been out in the country in the Midwest, you're going to see hemp lining the ditches and the rows. And for decades now, there have been eradication programs where they will come out and either apply, pesticide, herbicides, or they'll go through and do burns. And it's for something that continues to persist. And one of the things that it does is it shades out weeds. So if you start with that, here's a crop that will produce its own cover that makes it less, the necessity for things like herbicides to be used to fight other pests that would grow up in a crop, in a more valuable or whatever crop like corn or beans or anything else. Now, it can't be there the whole time, but like G is saying, if you do that interval harvesting, it's something that can, improve the soil. It'll improve the water by not having all those chemicals leached in, and then wrap back up. And I'll step off the soapbox, less reliance on petroleum. So go hemp.
I might actually eat a Impossible Whopper if it was made from hemp or hemp-based plant material.
I would recommend it. It's that end of it too. Whenever I was doing the research, is back when I was going to school for plants, and I was like, oh shit, this looks interesting. And then I was like, wow, like there's this really interesting. I thought I was just going to be, a report or whatever, and it turned into be really interesting. But they didn't have any research into the food so much, but that comes from the seeds. So you've got, the plant that grows, and then that is kind of like bamboo, like the plant structure itself. It's good for the soil, the way that it grows. It's good for, you can make paper, you can make wood. It's like a bamboo. It's a very useful plant structure. And then now carbon nanotubulars is like a whole nother level where you carbonize these things and use them as basically strings of diamonds. It's like, it's a whole nother level of material engineering. But then the seeds is a whole nother, and then of course the flour, and that's the part where people make medicine. And I don't want to discount getting high or whatever. That's one thing where people are going to, again, realize that the state doesn't get to choose your morality and what your decisions are for just enjoyment of life, right? But on the other side of that, the medical side, like I've heard nothing but good stuff from people who've had issues with cancers and stuff. Now that they can work on the medicine side, both the THC and the CBD side. But that's the flowers, right? The resin that comes out of the flower leaves and stuff. But the seeds themselves have the nourishment of the meat of the seed, which is a thing. And that's what those patties are probably made out of. But then you get, what's the other side of the seed? The oil from the seeds. And that's, I don't know where that ranks with all the others, but I'm just assuming that it's somewhere in the spectrum of, corn and soybean and coconut oils and stuff. So just because the rest of the plant's so good, I've never heard anybody say like, oh, but don't use marijuana oil. But I also haven't seen, I don't think I've seen marijuana oil for cooking anywhere.
Well,
But anyway, so yeah,
increase in prices for a lot of natural materials, and wood is like a really big deal. I mean, that's impacting even, like guitars. Manufacturers are having to, in the United States and abroad, are having to take harvests from places they're not used to. And of course, the shipping and everything that made that insanely expensive. So the way that I'm linking over to that is I have bamboo flooring. Hemp flooring is also a thing. So, the inexpensive, not using petroleum, not using plastics, using natural stuff, and with manufactured lumber and the like, it's kind of an interesting and evolving field.
Let me say a quick hello to New Jersey Outcast, Carolina EDC Reviews. So I think, well, someday we'll have to plan a chat raid where everybody is an outcast.
I'm up for it.
In other words, like a challenge, everyone can come up and justify why they haven't changed their name to an outcast yet.
Nope, just everybody changes it to outcast and then raids the live chat. And Uncle John. So Rich is saying hemp and marijuana do not come from the same plant. I've been to a hemp farm. The plants are related, but not the same thing. They don't even look alike.
And it doesn't matter because the government calls it all the same thing. So when the government makes it lawful to deal with them again, that'll unleash the potential to manufacture or whatever with it.
Hey, Chris from the 740.
But because they're together and because the one side has all the medicine, you figure you got, everybody wants it to be illegal from the industry side. They don't want competition from anything, from the medicine side, from the food side, from the material side.
Yeah, I thought they were the same plant. It was just male versus female. That's what I thought the difference was.
I mean, I guess it just depends on how you want to look at it. But, a poodle and a Boston Terrier and my dog are the same. They're dogs, So it's like that kind of, you breed it to do this. Like, so right now there's regulated experimentation or whatever you'd call, like research on it. But if you wanted like the oil, like, okay, let's see what's so good about the oil. You're going to grow like 10 things and you're going to look at which ones get the best oil. And then you're going to crossbreed those two together for a while. And eventually you're going to get plants that are just oily freaking plants. They might have none of the other characteristics anybody wants, but they're oily as hell. And that's what you want. And that's what you breed. Is that the same plant as what it started with? You know what I mean? So it gets into, I don't know if that's science or just
hybridizing.
People that are interested in the side. Yeah. I don't know if they call that a hybrid or what, but I suspect it's something more like that because all this stuff happened back in the day.
Hemp and marijuana, it's the same species. What it has to do with more is it has to do with the THC content kind of thing. That's the rub that's there. Otherwise, same species.
And the male
carries out there
is sort of like tomatoes or something if you let them go to seed or not. Like some things, if you want them because you want the vine, then you're never going to let them go to seed and flower. Other things, if you want the produce of the flower, you're going to try to get them to grow to flower as fast as possible with a vine that can produce a good fruit. So that's all just what you give it to enhance the characteristic you're looking for.
Is it like strawberries a byproduct from hemp?
Oh, really? I never heard that one before. That's interesting. Like from the research or literally from the plant or something?
Well, I think it's some type of, related to it.
Very cool. I never heard of it.
Yeah,
I know there was a lot of research back in the day, but something like World War II, and it depends, like I say, you get different stories depending on who's being persecuted and who writes the history. But, you know, in other words, if you're listening from somebody who's like anti-DuPont, that's different than somebody who's a hippie and just wants to get high and they're complaining about the persecution of the culture. So, you know, you're going to get different histories out there. But there was a bunch of research because it was what we made rope out of back in the day, and then paper. So they wanted as much as possible up until World War II. And then all of a sudden there's none. So I bet you there could have been some hardcore, what do you call it? Like, you know, research
like
into it.
Rich is saying they're a Rose family.
And
Yeah, but I'm saying if they did some sort of figuring out like, oh, look, what we did over here, now we can make strawberries, because that's one of those things. It's hard to know like what was the breakthrough to let you do something else, you know? So I could totally see something they figured out with hemp, let them figure out how to, because strawberries are a pain in the ass. I don't know about y'all. My grandpa used to just have strawberries growing out of the fucking dirt constantly. So when I grew up, I always just assumed strawberries just happened. I fucking have eaten like 3 of my own strawberries in my life as an adult. Like, I can't get a strawberry to grow for shit in Arizona.
So a couple of quick things here. Hemp for Victory was a government film that was produced in World War II that encourages U.S. production. So we're 80 years out from the government saying, you know, grow hemp because it's going to help the war effort. And G's right, ropes and other things. The Navy was one of the greatest consumers. Another thing to maybe check out is a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It does a great breakdown of these things. And to touch back on what Smeggy was observing, so in marijuana cultivation, you don't want it to seed if you're going to harvest for the flower. The flower is the portion that contains the greatest amount of THC. The other CBDs and things like that are derived from other parts of the plant, as well as flower. But that's the distinction that I wanted to make there.
But if you're making like a hemp protein powder, all you want is seeds.
Seed, correct. Yeah, different uses.
You know,
The flower,
giant sexy plant with giant fat seeds, I'm sure.
Yeah, sexed female for use at the guy who's the bud tender, and otherwise, yeah, you're going after the seed and the fiber, obviously.
All right, guys. Well, I got to jump off. Thanks for having me in your little show here. Your takeover.
Well, thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for waking me up.
Too much talk about marijuana. You're gonna buy some marijuana.
I mean, I'm not saying that since I live in California, they got more of those shops than Starbucks, but yeah, I see more of those shops than Starbucks.
I'm assuming in California that somebody knocks on your door a couple of times a day. It's like, need any marijuana?
I mean, they certainly have like a DoorDash thing for it.
Like Zanzibar's, they've got everything. So if Smeggy's going to open up the door, I'm going to follow him out and say, everybody be safe, have fun, carry your guns, rock, and I'll catch you again another time.
Yeah, thanks for being here, DJ.
Thanks, guys. What were we talking about while I was sleeping?
Pot.
Oh,
Weed, man, weed.
that explains why I'm hungry.
Yeah, maybe it's just too dry for you, G-Webs, to get strawberries. Because up here, you know, you see them all over the place in the yard. You know, you'd be walking along and, hey, there's some strawberries.
Yeah, I don't have anything like what do you call it, like a timer, automatic water, or anything like that. So I'm sure it's they don't get enough consistent water, because other people I know, even in Tucson, people I got the strawberries from this time, you know, have them. They're like, hey, you want strawberries? You want strawberries? There's always strawberries, because they've constantly got them, but they have a timer hooked up to it.
Yeah, and if you grow your own, even though they're a lot smaller than the huge ones you see at the store, they're better flavor, the little ones.
Well, like I said, I grew up eating them. I don't like them that much, but I grew up eating them. And nowadays, they always have white in the middle. And I'm like, that was like 1 or 2 out of the whole summer would be like that if you let it grow too long. And nowadays they grow them so fast or whatever that they never even get a chance to grow red in the middle. I think it's like bananas. They grow them and then cut them and then put them in some kind of warehouse to red them up or get them, ripen them up.
It's also like oranges. When you get the big navel oranges, there's not a lot of flavor in them. They're kind of bland.
Yeah, compared to back in the day. I think that's just that they rush so much, so many chemical fertilizers to plump them up to get big fruit.
Yeah, Uncle John's saying the strawberry season is like 2 weeks, small, but the best flavor.
I remember going to the things where they'd send you out into the field and you pick them yourself.
Yeah, there's still places around here like that. Pick your own.
Yeah, go out with a basket and come back, do all the work.
So Rich White's saying the longer the plant lives, the larger the berries will get. She started them this year and they're tiny. Next year the berries will be a little larger in size.
That's how they tell me bamboo is. I've noticed that happening. I got some and it stayed alive, and then it started to stick out little fingers. And then this year, it's the second year, the fingers are twice the diameter, they're like twice as strong.
How's it going, New York?
All right, how's it going, guys?
There's a bunch of outcasts floating around in here.
Oh yeah, all right.
There's an Illinois
over, man.
Illinois outcast, Ohio outcast. Who else was there?
New Jersey.
New Jersey outcast. I thought there was one more.
Is this the deal where like you go to the existing Travis collective and take over, or is it going to be a competing collective to the Travis collective?
Well, I'd say probably competing, I guess. I mean, it's not really a competition by any means. That's not the goal. But there's plenty of room for everybody over on this side.
They're hoping to be a smaller subsidiary of the Travi collective.
I'm just trying to position to see if there's some kind of chat battle potential in all this situation.
Maybe, could be.
If they're all the same people with duplicate identities, that's going to be a difficult chat battle. But if they're a whole bunch of separate individuals, that could be an interesting chat.
Well, I think the outcastees need to be a little more organized, though.
We're working on things,
Right now, it's just a loose alliance.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to see them out there, or hear that they're out there. So, how's everybody doing?
Doing all right. I played your ad, even though the rule is you have to be here, but you are here now, so
Thanks.
Worked out in the end.
Yeah, I had an unexpected visit from a friend from out of town, so one of them things where I'm like, yeah, just give me some notice, when you're gonna pop by, and then he gives me notice maybe 15 minutes before, so I was meeting like a day, so but so it threw me off for a little bit, but
to answer Night Shaft, he's wondering how long we're going to go. Probably about 6 more minutes.
So I just skated in here, huh?
Rob.
Did. The original goal was an hour, and we're
Hi, Rob.
Hello. Badass.
Did you see the video?
I did see the video. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, boss, but you got to answer the lady. Yes, I did. So that was cool. So obviously didn't need to make a video, but that was cool. Still waiting on that knife review, though. I want an honest opinion.
What?
The knife review.
It's gonna be next week.
All right. No big pressure. believe Foss has one of them knives too.
Which ones?
I don't even remember.
I don't know if I should say, but I guess so. What the heck? The Space Force knives?
No, I gave it away.
You gave it away.
Yep.
Well, you could have gave it to me, man.
Well, I did a giveaway, and we gave
I
it
had
away.
my eye on. Honestly, since I held that one in my hands, I want my own.
Are you talking the folder or the K-bar?
The folder, but honestly, I'd take them all. Whether you want to call it novelty or whatnot. That's why I'm curious. Like, I don't want like her to go destroy her knife, but give me your opinions. Does it fit well for you? Is it ideal? Is it something that my daughter might have interest in? I don't know.
I did not like it.
Okay,
I was disappointed by it, but I still would like one of the K-bars.
Can I ask what you didn't like about it?
Well, if somebody's doing a review, I don't want to
taint it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it's just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah, he's a mouse, so don't worry about him. There isn't cheese involved, He's this guy.
I do like cheese.
Well, everybody's different, so in different purposes as well, Yeah, I only assume she's gonna have to lop one or two of her dad's fingers off to get him in line. So I'm pretty sure it can handle that. Try opening packages, threatening off the local boys, things like that.
Later, John.
Thanks a lot. I still got all 10, so.
So I think we'll start wrapping her up here. RTAC.
I dropped an early video, which I kind of displayed Rob's stands there, and got more coming up. A little bit of shorts coming up for the next 2 weeks, I think, and a couple of regular videos. But that's about it.
Is that a rainbow, a nuclear cloud? What are we looking at there, Rob?
Well, it's New York. It's hard to say, but if I had to put money on it, I think it's a rainbow.
Let me.
How does that work in New York? You got to pay like a tax if you look at it, or if it's just if you talk about it, or is it just everybody has to pay that?
Just don't give them ideas, man. I don't know. I haven't heard of any tax yet, but I wouldn't be shocked. If you enjoy it, there's probably a fee.
That's what I'm saying. I think too many people are enjoying that, and nobody's making, the state's not making any money yet.
So there's a link for our tax channel, and I underscored instead of dashed it. Sorry, man.
All right.
I screwed her up. So, Rob, what you got going on? Other than, hang on here just a second. Wait, let me get, wait. Other than some R&L displays, what do you got going on?
Not a whole lot. Threw up a kind of last minute video, I think last night or early this morning. Nothing special. I really don't know. So obviously R&L display. So that's always going on. But besides that, as far as I guess what would be considered content, it's in the wind. Honestly, you never know. I was considering maybe popping on a show here, like starting one up tonight, but you did a cover show for him, and I got tied up. So at some point there might be a random show out there too. But other than that, avoid Glocks, eat a salad, do something active, pay with cash, and America.
G-Webs. You had a show earlier, the gun question show, chat. And you've got one tomorrow too. What's your one for tomorrow?
Where we'll take a look at the Instagrams and talk about all the good stuff that was focused on 2A. But the better thing will be, and thanks for mentioning it, but the better thing will be Brooke Cheney doing her suicide prevention Saturday project here at some point in the near future. I don't think she's posted it yet, but a brief, effective, consistent message.
Bear, hang on there. All right, let's see if I got this right. A link for gearwebsites.com. And Baron, you just dropped a video today.
What?
Yeah, theoretically it was a video. Yeah, it's out there. People should probably consider seeing it. I don't know.
Why don't you put a link for your channel out there?
Let's see if I can mentally do that.
Well, I try and type this. For Arnold's Place. There we go.
You're the man.
The man, the mouth, the legend.
Yeah, all I got going on is sleep
So
during the show and soon to be after the show.
If you want to check out Bayron SVG's channel, just click the link.
Is that pronounced Bayron?
Sure.
Appreciate everybody that has been out there watching and those who are participating in the chat and those who might watch this in replay. If you do, go ahead and leave a comment. Anything we talked about, we kind of rambled all over the place. If you have anything to add it. Or you can email me at untacticalfoss@gmail.com with comments or pictures or whatnot.
I have a challenge.
Yes.
They should timestamp when I fell asleep and dropped my keyboard.
Do you know what it
Yeah, I turned my webcam on.
I gotta be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
Looked like that.
So, other than that, if you haven't voted in the poll on the community tab, head over there and vote on the poll. Community tab. Oh, wait. Let me get the closing video. Which one should we go with? An outro. We need an outro. All right, this one.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.